Hello! AANP versus ANCC board exam. Not sure which one to go with? Here are a few items that you need to know. First of all, this presentation is not going to be like your traditional PowerPoint presentation because it has a little bit more details, and just in case the audio gets to be misplaced or stop working, we still have a PowerPoint presentation that makes sense, right? So, AANP. Well, that stands for the American Association of Nurse Practitioners. It was once called the American Academy of Nurse Practitioners back in 1985 when it was formed. In 1990, it was the AANC that was formed. In 93, the AANP established its exam wing that handles all of the nurse practitioner certifications. In 95, another nurse practitioner organization was established called the American College of Nurse Practitioners. However, ready for this? In 2013, the American College of Nurse Practitioners merged with the American Academy of Nurse Practitioners to what we now have today as the American Association of Nurse Practitioners. Woohoo! Both organizations offer certification for several NP specialties, and both exams are nationally recognized in all states. When it comes to frequency of renewal of your license, both certifications need to be renewed every 5 years. Now, after you've been credentialed or after you've passed your board, the way that you sign your name varies for each exam. The AANP, you have to attach a letter C at the end of your specialty. For example, if you are FNP, your title will be FNP-C. But for ANCC, theirs is the letter BC, standing for Board Certified. So your credentials would read FNP-BC. The ANCC changes its exam content every year to some extent. However, the ANCC changes theirs every 3 to 5 years. The last time that the ANCC changed their exam content was in 2022. However, the ANCC just changed theirs, of course, every year, January of every year. Now, when it comes to requirements at the time of application, I gotta tell you, the AANP is more tedious. It's a lot of stuff that you have to put in. And also, all of the clinical sites that you've ever attended, you will have to include them in your application. Well, for the ANCC, that's not the case. It's actually less paperwork than the ANPB, all right? Now, an additional tip, if you intend to take your board exam early, like right before you graduate or right after you graduate or within the first month after you graduate, you can do that. But you have to start the application process while you are in school. If you are taking a master's NP program, you can start your application 6 months to the end of your program. But if you are going for your doctorate, then you can actually start your application 12 months to the time of graduation. The exam pass rate. Oh my God, this is data from 2022. The AANP, the pass rate was at 74% for FMPs, and for the ANCC, pass rate is at 86%. The exam format. Okay, AANP offers 150 questions, and you're scored for 135. The remaining questions are test questions that the board uses to test how students are getting it and how the questions are performing, like what's the percentage of students that fail that question. Maybe there needs to be some kind of modification to it. Now, the ANCC offers 175 questions and 150 is scored. The time frame for this exam is 3.5 hours, 3.5 hours. Let's talk about cost, money. Okay. If you are enjoying this content so far, please hit the like and subscribe button. It's really, really important. Thank you for hitting the like and subscribe button. Let's talk about cost, money. Okay. AANP offers membership price, and that would be $240. Now, for folks who are not AANP members, you will have to pay the full-on price of $315. If you are still in school, the AANP still offers a student membership, which is at a very, discounted price. I think ANA also offers a student discount price. If you're not a member of ANA, the cost of your ANCC exam would be $295 if you're a member. But if you're not a member, the full price is $395. So you can kind of see that ANCC costs more for non-members than AANP. Both exams offer computer-based testing. There are no paper formats for this. If there's a situation where there's a special accommodation need, you are required to communicate with them, and they are actually very good at accommodating all kinds of concerns. Now, the processing times from when you submit your application. First of all, processing times are calculated from the day when you submitted all of your documents and made the correct payment. So if you had documents that were still missing, that would still put you at a waiting list. Now, processing time, this is data from 2023. The AANP takes about 3 weeks to process and send you the email about going to get your testing done. But the ANCC takes anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks and sometimes a little bit longer. But, hear me out, they do offer an expedited processing option, which will cost you an additional $200 on top of the $395 if you are a non-member. Regardless of membership status, there is a $200 cost if you want the expedited version or expedited processing. And the time for that is 3 to 5 days turnaround. Hang in there, we're getting somewhere. Exam focus. The AANP is very clinically focused. You're going to get a lot of questions relating to primary care, urgent care / emergency room type settings. They want to get a picture of your thinking process when it comes to the situations that or the conditions that you should see in this settings. So specialty things like you would see in a pulmonologist's office would not really apply in this situation. Also, AANP will ask you questions. The exam format is usually multiple choice, usually 4 options and a question. But AANC is broad. You get questions relating to leadership, policies, questions on research, so expect things like that. Their format is also different, where you get questions relating to drag and drop, questions about choose all that apply, pictures, you have to identify certain parts in the picture. But ANCC is broader from the content to the style. Now that you have taken your boards and you passed, it's 5 years and it's time to renew your license. Okay, what do you have to do? First, AANP. You would be required to accumulate 100 advanced or 100 CE hours in 5 years. That is very doable, okay? And of that 100, 25 of it must be based on pharmacology. You can get more information from the AANP handbook. Now, the ANCC refers to CE hours as CH hours, like contact hours. And your certification is every 5 years. You can retake the exam to get recertified at the 5-year mark. If not, they require you to get a 75 contact hour within the 5-year period, and of which 25 of that must be from pharmacology. You should know that certain specialties are not required certain specialties don't have the option of retaking the exam when it comes time to renew. So you have to go through accumulating those CE hours. Okay, AANP application steps and process. This is an example of an MP student in their final semester, right? So first things first, create an account with AANP, choose the exam of choice that you're planning to take, complete all of the parts of the application, submit all available transcripts, and that includes the unofficial transcript that you may have. Ask your school or set up a system where your school will mail out your final transcript once you graduate. And usually this will be before you graduate, because the day when you're conferred your degree is always before the day of graduation. So when you set that up with your school, you need to get in contact with whoever is responsible for sending out transcript and have them set up a system where upon getting your degree conferred, usually after your presentations or defending your project, you can have that final transcript mailed to AANP. Then the next thing that you want to do is request your program director to send an email to AANP confirming that you have completed all aspects of your program requirements. The next step for you to do is to wait and then receive your approval to test email. Once you get that email, you can proceed to Prometric to have your exam scheduled. Select your date, sit for your exam, pass your board, and congratulations. Now, for specific conditions, you should be reaching out to AANPCB via email, because you are going to need evidence of that communication or conversation. It's easy for phone calls or phone conversations to be misunderstood and wrong information passed around, but nothing beats proof of communication, which is what an email will provide you. Now, when it comes to ANCC, the application process is quite easier than the AANP. First things first, you have to have an account with them. If you had an account before, you may have to renew or update, something like that. Then choose the exam that you want to take. Then you are going to complete the validation of APRN education form. This is like your application form too. Then your program director must sign your application. See, when you applied with AANP, you didn't need your program director to sign your application. But with ANCC, your program director is required to sign that form. Okay, so be in good terms with this person, it helps. The next thing that you need to do is to upload that form. Then you are also going to request your program director, be in good terms. You're going to request the program director to send an email to ANCC, letting them know that you have completed all of your program requirements. Once that's confirmed, you are going to go ahead and pay your fees, get your eligibility to test email, pick a date, go sit for your exam, pass your exam, and congratulations. Now, about the ANCC, there's a little additional point that I wanted to speak on. It's called the employment demographics when you're completing your application. Honestly, you don't need this. This is just an extensive page where you have to add all these jobs that you've ever had. You don't need it. When you're in school, you don't have time for extras. Like, you just want to go straight to the point, get your entree, eat the main course, and be done. So when you get to the portion that says employment demographics, it is 100% optional. It doesn't give you any extra credit or give you an extra hour to take your exam. It is strictly optional. Additional points. So from the time that you get your approval or your authorization to test to the time when you actually take your test, this time frame varies. For AANP, you get a 120 window. That's like 4 months of additional point that I wanted to speak on. It's called the employment demographics when you're completing your application. Honestly, you don't need this. This is just an extensive page where you have to add all the jobs that you've ever had. You don't need it. When you're in school, you don't have time for extras. Like, you just want to go straight to the point, get your entree, eat the main course, and be done. So when you get to the portion that says employment demographics, it is 100% optional. It doesn't give you any extra credit or give you an extra hour to take your exam. It is strictly optional. Additional points. So from the time that you get your approval or your authorization to test to the time when you actually take your test, this time frame varies. For AANP, you get a 120 window. That's like 4 months of a time frame for you to sit for your exam. But ANCC only gives you 90 days, which is 3 months. So you have to be sure that you are studying and getting all your stuff together and applying, getting your approval, and going in to take your test. Testing vendors. These are the main people or the little organizations that each board uses to deliver the exam directly to you, the student taking the board exam, right? So the two organizations being used are, or two providers known as vendors, are the Prometric and PSI. A lot of us have used both at different points in our nursing careers. Well, as at January of 2024, Prometric is the only or the primary testing vendor for the AANP exam, while the ANCC is still using both. The exam blueprint, this is where you get ideas about what to expect, what to read, how to study, different focus areas, and of course, the percentage, which tells you which areas are more tested on. References and resources, both organizations do offer that. There are a lot of textbooks and a lot of guidelines that are being utilized, and they made it all clear. At the end of this presentation, or towards the end of it, there are copies of this reference points and resources that I just added so you can see for yourself. Feel free to screenshot it, feel free to take photos of it and print it out and have it for yourself. It took a while to put this all together. Now, this is my hope and this is my prayer for everyone watching this, that you wouldn't need this last information that I'm about to say. If a student needs to retake the exam because they failed, the process is different for each board each board organization. Starting with AANP. AANP only lets a student to take the board exam twice in a 12-month calendar. On top of that, you can only reapply after you or after the person has accumulated 15 advanced CE hours. And after that, they can now proceed to applying and retaking the exam. Well, when it comes to ANCC, they allow a candidate to retake an exam 3 times in a 12-month calendar. And you don't need CE hours to re-register and to retake your exam. Also, you are required to wait at least 60 days from the last time that the person didn't make the exam or didn't pass the exam. So, readiness to test. Well, the ANCC offers a certification test called readiness to test. The student or the candidate actually has to apply and take this test and pay separately for it. It's a practice test where the whole idea of going to a location to take your exam is completely simulated. You get a test date, you pick a date, you go to a location where the exam is being offered, you take similar exam, but these are usually retired questions. And then some students need this test to gauge how far, some people deal with anxiety, some of us have test anxiety. This will be a good option to consider because you get exposed to the process, right? So this is for whoever needs it. It's not for everybody. It's going to cost an extra, I think, $85, and it carries 60 questions to be answered in 75 minutes, right? One final thought about the readiness exam. It is not available for all exams. It's only available for those taking the gerontology, acute care, the FNP side, and I think all of the gerontology specialties, right? However, when it comes to AANP, there's nothing like that. You get ready for your exam, go and take it, pass, and congratulations, right? Now, will these 2 exams ever merge to where we are required to just take it just one exam? I don't think so, because there's money to be made. So ANCC is making their money, AANP also making their money. So it's going to take a long time and something really significant to make this group come together and offer one exam. Right now, there is no motivation to do that. Even though there are conversations about that, nothing has come out of those conversations yet. So stay tuned. In the next slides to come up, this will be something that you can take a screenshot of, you can take a picture of, but this will be a list of the references that were used by the different boards to put the exam together. The first one would be the 2021 AANP reference list for FNP and the geriatric NP. You should have been exposed to a lot of these textbooks and guidelines in your training program. That's the hope. The next one, or the next slide, we'll be talking about the new AANP FNP exam blueprint. Things were changed from prior. So for the new FNP blueprint, a lot of emphasis have been moved to assessment. And when it comes to assessment, they expect things that relate to how you obtain history and information, the chief complaint, the review of systems, how you perform the appropriate or the needed physical exam, like a focus exam, and also how you order tests, what tests you order, what tests you perform, what interventions you performed, how you interpreted those results or how to interpret results, how screening and diagnostics are performed. So a lot has been moved to the domain that deals with assessment. In the next videos, I will take some time and explain more about this 2024 blueprint that has been updated by the AANP and just kind of help you guide you comparing both 2023 and 2024. And honestly, there's nothing to be alarmed. You know this item. So I'm going to break it up and help you feel more relaxed and confident. In the next videos, I will take some time and explain more about this 2024 blueprint that has been updated. The last additional pages will show the ANCC test outline and reference lists for the FNP and AGNP exams. I don't want you to dwell on this for too long. It is important to decide which one that you're going for and get to know more about what that exam needs of you. Going in and passing your exam, and of course getting all the congratulations that comes with that. I just want to say, stay the course. It is extremely doable, okay? Thank you so much for watching and listening. Until the next video, please do not forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Hello, from Dr. MP Joe. I join with you.